Hi, tonight we're going to talk about spirituality and science is becoming one. Spirituality and science can awaken the awareness of our divinity within because we are spirit, so we don't have to die to become spirit. Merging with the divine is not about changing ourselves, but about expanding our consciousness to experience and harmonize with reality. We live in a giant force field of energy composed of light and love that is connected to everything. Our mind needs a method to determine this reality, and the scientific method is a good choice, better than religious dogma, because it has to be directly observable. We must become seekers of truth, whether it is in quantum physics, Buddhism, Christianity, the Torah, or Hinduism. Therefore, we need a hypothesis. So, the fundamental purpose of God, or this one energy, is unity expressed as love. Spirituality teaches that the soul is not about being nice, following rules and commandments, but about being authentic, being real, and just being united with everything labeled God. Science teaches that the body, mind, and soul are different dimensions of energy, frequency, and vibration grounded in one common, strong consciousness that is centered. Science and spirituality can help us connect with this source of higher energy, our true self, to balance the physical world and become a better version of who we are. We are a force, energy, and frequency that exists in the one consciousness that is the source of our creation, that is not separate and exterior to us, but the divine energy within us. Our perception of multiplicity and division comes from the mind that separates things with names and appearances in the undivided whole. Rumi says, "The inspiration you seek is already within you. Be silent and listen." The scientists observe the energy, the universe, the energy, externally and see infinity as an abstraction, while the mystic is silent and experiences this abstraction beyond the mind, within. Quantum physics and the realm of spirituality are shifting our perceptions to the invisible dimensions of life energy. Albert Einstein said, "Matter is energy," in quotation marks, light, whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. Spirituality and science are telling us that matter exists as energy, a force field, so being solid and separate is a physical illusion. Science brings to light that everything is one huge energy field that can't be destroyed, but changes come into being within that force field. Nothing and nobody is isolated as energy vibrates at different frequencies, but still interrelates in a web of interactions. In this web of associations, the different parts of the whole are entangled or fit together in one consciousness or energy with information. In spirituality, we say God is everything. Therefore, the source of creation, because everything in one consciousness that we Christians label God. This one consciousness is not independent from us because it is the expression of the whole, the unity of everything together. Everything has to be made out of this one consciousness because in the beginning there was only God. Jesus said, "I and the Father are one." He is talking about the divinity within, the expression of God, and the unity of everything together. There is only one authentic reality with the appearance of separate existences on the surface. It is like one big ocean with the appearance of waves that look separate at their crest, but is connected to the ocean. We are a consciousness that exists in time, but lives in eternity. We have a body that knows death and will die, while our real self, consciousness, does not die. Science says everything is energy, while spirituality says everything is God, because it is made out of God. Energy carries information in the form of consciousness, so we can access our past, present, and future in our consciousness. As consciousness of our soul flows in eternity, but in the body-mind we live in time with a beginning and an end. The Bible in Romans 14:7-8 says, "For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's." I'm going to say this again, but I'm going to say it as a scientist. "For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. For whether we live unto the energy, in the energy. And whether we die in the energy. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are energy." To translate this into science, we exist in energy. The label does not matter, so we transform this energy medium to God, but do not die. We exist in eternity in our soul and penetrate time in our body-mind, so we do not die as our consciousness continues to flow in eternity as the body dies. Therefore, we need to become conscious of our consciousness, where everything is united in one energy, or God. It is our ego, faith, and fear that divides us and excludes us from unity. So we need a deep understanding of who we are. In the unity of God consciousness, we do what is right no matter what we are told. In our mental beliefs, we do what we are told no matter what is right. We are in duality, separated and alive, to find the purpose of our existence and not on a spiritual journey to find a religion, but to become aware of our consciousness. We live in the physical realm not to search for money, position, control, or influence, but to just be aware. When nothing on the physical realm satisfies us, we become aware of one energy or consciousness in all living beings and objects everywhere. Then everything is released and falls into place naturally, so peace and love ascends as we live our truth. Love is inside us, so when we become aware of unity, it creates peace externally. But if we live in fear externally, we become afraid internally. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus said, "Recognize what is before your eyes, and the mysteries will be revealed to you. For there is nothing hidden that will not be revealed." We search externally in religion, books, and relationships for our true being. But we are the consciousness inside observing. Our body-mind experiences death, but only a few of us are exposed to life in the soul perspective that flows in unity with the universe. Connect with your soul because it knows what is true and sustains and enjoys the light that is in everything. The soul speaks softly inside and does not shout like our desires externally. But those that do not fear to enter find the spring of life, energy. Our fear does not stop us from dying, but it stops us from living life to the fullest. While spirituality won't stop darkness, but will teach us how to expand beyond it to light. When we expand beyond our ego, faith, and fear, we unite with consciousness and return to our source within. The soul is where we find the answer to who we are and our purpose in life, and what our purpose in life is. The entrance is inside us, the divinity within, while the light of the soul is a sacred energy that draws attention to it. Follow the unity of the soul, even if we can't see it, because that is who we are and the way of our life. We do this by agreeing and permitting life to happen in a direction of least resistance, because everything unfolds as it is intended, and it is unavoidable. There is no need to force things, which takes huge amounts of energy, because we live in the unity of spirit, where everything falls into place. The mind reflects, but doesn't overthink, as the doer is replaced with the spirit flowing through us and in tune with the universe. Going with the flow, we find satisfaction and peace, while going against the flow, we become anxious, troubled, and annoyed. On a sunny day, we enjoy the light of our true self. But when a cloud comes between us and the sun, our ego self blocks the light. Egoic thinking blocks the sun of awareness and rains on our parade. But by just observing the clouds, our thoughts, the misleading ego is vaporized, exposing it as just mist or haze. Awareness is the sun that lights the way to peace and love, while our expectations force and shaken us. But when we let go, they awaken us to unity and love. The power of unity is the proof, if observed, then expressed in love and happiness. Christians, Hindus, Jews, and Buddhists use scientists for terrorism, which reveals that they do not experience love or unity. We can't force others to love, and if we accept science and spirituality, we will create space for people to discover it in themselves, in infinity, in the one energy, or God. Thank you.